Welcome back to Classic Vinyl Top 10s. Today we are in Mexico. So today we're mostly talking about drummers, my favourite drummers to listen to. They're not in any particular order, and I've got no amazing clips to play because we're in Mexico, but just a quick chat through my favourite drummers of all time. So let's start with a few of the obvious ones. John Bonham, Led Zepp. You can't get away from his power, his technical skill, and the fact that he played on some of the greatest rock songs of the last 50 years. The first album in particular, I thought, was absolutely brilliant. Second album blew me away. Third album less so.
Not as good as we have in Sorry.
Do you know Bastolo?
But four,
Sorry?
yeah, great. And Song Remains the Same is my favourite album because it's probably the best live recording I think we've got of them. There's a lot of very ropey ones, but Song Remains the Same was great. So Bonham's certainly up there for me, if not my number one. Number two is Stuart Copeland for me. I love listening to Copeland. I love the Police, but Copeland was more than a third of the Police. The rhythms that he introduced, the fact that he could probably never play the song the same way twice is always interesting, a bit like a Jimmy Page solo. When he came along, it was so refreshing, and the drums were so dominant in the Police because there was a lot of space for the drums, and the whole reggae thing and backbeat in the pop charts in the US and the UK was certainly something new. Number three, okay, I'm saying number three, it's not really in order, but I think one of my favourite drummers is somebody who people don't normally talk about. I really liked Pete Hammond of the Au Pairs. To me, he was very creative. His drumming was essential for the Au Pairs, who again were one of those bands who left lots of space for the drums to fill in, and he was always energetic, committed, but creative in his rhythms. That's Pete Hammond of the Au Pairs. There's a few other drummers who should get mentions in my opinion, although certainly not always well known. The guy out of Hot House Flowers, I can't pronounce his name, but I always thought he was excellent on that first album. Star Sailor's drummer, he was always great on that debut album, beautifully recorded as well. Who else do I really like at the moment? You can't sort of say you don't like Neil Peart, although he had a ridiculous drum kit, and I think we could all make a decent noise on that. But he was a true technician, and again very creative. Keith Moon, what do we say about Keith Moon? I always thought Keith Moon was more chaos over drumming substance, I have to say. I never listened to The Who for the drums, whereas I listened to Led Zepp for the drums, I've listened to the Police for the drums. So Mooney is always a controversial one. It seems like people want to talk about him because of his lifestyle. But for me, I wouldn't really listen to him for the drums. I like Won't Get Fooled Again, sure, it's great, but I just never felt... I thought it must have been chaos rehearsing with him. I don't know how the band did it. Maybe they just let him get on with it. I have no idea. But I think he's overrated. Who else do I really like at the moment? Ed out of Radiohead. I think he's not talked about enough, particularly on In Rainbows. Had some brilliant little rhythms there. And yeah, sure, some of them were meant to be repetitive, I think, almost drum machine-like. But again, it just really adds to the sound, and I would listen to Radiohead for him. Who else? Ringo. Okay, you've got to talk about Ringo. Still, the startling thing about Ringo was this thing that he was a left-hand drummer playing a right-hand kit. Now, I don't know in that time whether there just weren't, you couldn't easily reverse kits. I find it hard to believe, but anyway. And people talk about When Tomorrow Comes and, you know, one or two other tracks. But bearing in mind how prolific they were, I don't think Ringo was that good. I think he had a great groove. I think he had great feel. But I don't think he's amongst the best. It's just that we all hear him a lot. I think he was there almost to glue the personalities together, and that certainly worked. Okay, other drummers that should certainly get mentions. Well, people like Cobham, Billy Cobham, and Steve Gadd. I mean, these guys have done some amazing stuff, but would I listen to music just to hear them? No, I really wouldn't, even though they're technically wonderful. Who else? Just give me a second. Okay, just thought of another drumming icon to me, and it's not really a single person. It is the Glitter Band. Remember the Glitter Band? The two drummers, Angel Face, Face of an Angel, all that. And they used to have these beautiful paired, rhythmic, bestial rhythms that the two of them played together. I love that. To a lesser degree, Adam and the Ants, when they were doing the double drummer thing. And another drummer that's always been of interest to me is Slade's Don Powell, because he always did a lot of snare work, less hi-hat work. So that was quite unique, I think, in the 70s. And another 70s drummer who barely gets a mention is the guy out of Sweet. Now, what was his name? So you had Brian Conley, you had Steve, ready Steve, Mick, okay, okay, well let's go fellas. Yeah, no, it's Mick Tucker, there you go, Mick Tucker. I'm getting on a bit now, Mick Tucker. He was brilliant, some of the little riffs he did. So Mick Tucker of the Sweet, listen to Ballroom Blitz, for example. Ballroom Blitz is great. Anyway, that's just a few of the drummers that I really love to listen to. But one other thing that I should really say, particularly to non-drummers who's interested in this sort of stuff, is how the drums are recorded, i.e. in the studio, live, whatever, is so important. Can make a massive difference. The drummer can be playing the same thing and be recorded well and be recorded badly, and it makes a massive difference. So just watch out for that. Oh, the other guy who I should give a quick mention to is the guy out of Tears for Fears, Manny Elias. He was great as well. In terms of drum machines, you can't beat Depeche Mode's drum machine, I think. They got it in early and really developed it. So anyway, I'll leave you with those comments. Okay, so until next. And here's three more I completely forgot about. Danny Carey out of Tool, I think is amazing. Buddy Rich was obviously one of the first guys really that I saw that got me into drumming. So strong. And Jeff Porcaro of Toto, who was a brilliant session musician before he joined them. Anyway, just three more. Okay, thanks, bye.